Hi guys! Welcome to my vlog, and this is my first video in YouTube. My name is Emma, by the way, and the title of my YouTube channel is the Philippine Experience. So this is all about talking about my culture. We can do a lot of cooking show in here too if you guys like. Anything about the Philippines and my background and all of our custom. And by the way, I've been living here in the US for more than 30 years. But I grew up in the Philippines, in Manila. And again, this is my first time in here, and I just want to start doing this video because I watch a lot of YouTube channels, and there's some YouTube or video that I've watched and I followed through. And it's hard to kind of point fingers to somebody or anybody in the video, but there's a lot of negative stuff about some of the expat talking about the Philippines, and they are currently living in the Philippines. And for me, I'm married to an American, and my husband never been in the Philippines, so I want him to watch those videos to kind of see what's the Philippines look like and what's the life is going on over there. And we're hearing a lot of negative things, and if people like my husband or a lot of foreign people that want to watch some of those video, that wants to visit or having a relationship with a Filipino back then, they're gonna have a lot of negative impact about those videos or negative thoughts about the Philippines. So I just want to make this video to clarify things about why maybe some of those experts are commenting some negative things, and I'm gonna have my husband say something about it.
What up, guys? I'm kind of camera shy, but whatever. I have, like my wife said, I have watched quite a few different expats that have moved to the Philippines, and I'm not going to name their channels. But the thing that I get from a lot of them is how beautiful it is, which it does seem very beautiful. But, some more than others, all they do is complain about traffic or standing in line or just different things, or about safety conditions of, like at a construction site or whatever. And my thought is, if you are living in the Philippines, unless you're military or unless you're there for some kind of job, more than not, you're there to retire. So my thing is, if you're there to retire and kind of kick back and relax, why do you got to bitch and moan? I mean, why? I mean, it's like if somebody were to come here to the U.S. and they watch videos on the U.S. and they studied the U.S. and they kind of knew what to expect, but when they got here, all they did was complain and complain. Why would you come here? And it's the same thing for the expats. And what I don't like is, I think at some point, someone in the Philippines, either in the tourism department or somebody in government, is going to say, hey, no more of these expats living here, because all they do is complain, and they do it on social media, and it makes our country look bad. And, you know what you're getting into when you live there. From what I've saw from the Philippines, it's just like anywhere else. They have their good parts, they have their bad parts, they have their beautiful places, they have their ugly places. We all have them. But what I don't like is when people just constantly complain. Now, don't get me wrong, some of these YouTubers that I'm not going to mention their names, they have good content. They really do. But more times than not, they're complaining. And it's like, I'll be into their video and I'll be watching, and then all of a sudden, and I'll tell my wife, here it comes. They're going to start complaining about the price, about, how long it takes for them to get service, like if they call a repairman. You guys have to realize you're not living in the United States. So, it may take you a long time to pay a bill, to do something with immigration. whatever the case is, you don't live in the United States. You are a guest in the Philippines. You can't even own land if you're a foreigner. Um, so remember that, because they may change the rules. I mean, the Philippines can change rules. They're their own country, so they can do whatever they want. They don't have to listen to the U.S. Okay, so just keep that in mind to all you people making videos. And I just hope I hear the complaining kind of come to an end. And I will be giving my wife, a little hand with the channel if she so needs it. But this channel is her inaugural. This is her inaugural video. Um, she's going to cover a lot of topics, from food to how to find a Filipina, to what a Filipina may expect when you go out with them, their traditions, their customs, uh, just all different topics. And we would like to hear from you out there as to what you may want to hear, what you may want to know about the Philippines. And my wife will do her best to answer it. Again, I've never been there. We were planning to go in August. I don't know if that trip's going to come through or not because of Corona. So I don't know. But in closing, and before I turn it back over to my wife, stop the complaining. This goes out to the expats. Stop the complaining. It really doesn't do your videos any justice. A lot of you do a good job of filming the Philippines, and that's what we want to hear and see. The complaining, come on. I mean, it's just, you're gonna have that no matter what you're gonna do. So you got beautiful sun, beautiful beaches, palm trees. There's no reason to complain. And that's it.
I definitely agree because, I go home, and since I've lived here for many years, I accustomed to the culture here, but I still had to adapt to the culture back home. I'm not used to that, but because for me, I consider myself as a foreigner now, and I've only, stayed there for the longest was 15 days. I had to adapt on those cultures, waiting in line. They don't do certain things like we do here in the US. But I don't complain because that's the nature of it. But when you hear some of those expat that they retired there and they're choose to live there, and like what my husband said, all you hear sometimes is complain. It's not, that's the nature of that country. And I guess I could say that we're not perfect, and we want everything to be the way you want it to be, but that's not gonna happen. Sometimes I always said that, if you're gonna complain, just complain to yourself, you know, because you can, if you look at all the YouTube channels, there's a lot of things you can say about the Philippines. And maybe some people that always shows videos like the beaches and things that they can do, they probably got through a lot of negative stuff, but they don't have to include it in their videos because again, you don't want that to be there. It's bad enough that, okay, yes, it's not what you're accustomed to, but again, you're only a guest over there, and we had to respect how they do things back there. And if I were a Filipino that living the full time ever since, and I were to hear that, I would say, well, why are you here? This is how we do things in the Philippines. And granted, Filipinos not gonna say that because they're very polite, they're very respectful of people.
Very easygoing.
They're very easygoing people. But you're gonna find people that, well, this is our country, then why are you here? Stop complaining about our countries. But like I said, they're not gonna do that to you because we're very hospitable people. Just for people that watching all those YouTube channels that's in the foreign countries, and if they want to visit the Philippines, that's not how I want my country to be pictured before someone can even get their foot on it, because
Yeah.
it's not what the country looks like.
Yeah, and that goes back to like what I was saying, if you've never been to the Philippines and you hear expat after expat after expat complaining, oh, well, I ain't going to go there. This doesn't seem like a good place with all these people complaining. And it doesn't put the Philippines in a good light. And sooner or later, if their tourism takes a hit because of it, and let me tell you something, guys, there's a lot of parts of the Philippines that are hurting right now that heavily rely on tourism,
Yep.
and they're taking a beating as it is. So if you have these expats complaining, guess what's going to happen? The powers to be in the Philippines, as we all know, they could change their minds like that. Say, get these expats the hell out of here, because you want to know what, they're ruining our tourism, everything. Or at the very least, they're going to make it hard for somebody like me that may want to retire to the Philippines. They may make it hard for me to do that because of their negativity. And, we're trying to build this channel on positivity, not negativity. I understand, like I told my wife, you're going to have trolls out there who are going to want to bring you down, and that's just the way it is. But the problem is, social media is so strong. And when you put that out on social media about this is wrong with the Philippines, that's wrong with the Philippines, that's not your place. You're not president, and I can't pronounce his name, Duterte. You're not the president of the Philippines. You're just an expat living in the Philippines. And that's all I got to say. And again, we're going to try and touch on topics that you guys want to hear or know about, and tell us, tell us what we can do to make the channel better. This is my wife's first video of her vlog, so we're going to make a video. Hopefully we'll see a lot of responses and a lot of views.
And trust me, guys, I've known a lot of people that actually visited the Philippines in the past, or know people that Filipinos, and they're very respectful about our culture. They actually accustomed to our culture, to adapt to based on our culture, so they have a better understanding. But they don't complain. They don't see the negative. Every single culture, they have a negative side. Even in this country, okay, there are things in here that I don't like at all, and I can't blast that in social media, because that's how in every single country. All we can do has an open mind and be respectful about it, okay? Even with my husband, he was born and raised in here. Me and him, we can go head to head, and it's just the nature of it. I may have been here for more than 30 years, but I was still born and raised in the Philippines. There's still some culture in me that has stayed with me, and the way I was raised by my parents. But there's some things that I accustom as I'm growing up in here. But for him and I, it's very normal. So what I wanted to say is just, keep it to yourself. And I know you can say, I'm just speaking about how I feel. Yes, that's understandable. But when you open those YouTube channel, all you hear is complain after another. It's not a healthy way to really let other people see what you have in mind. And a lot of times they don't want to hear that. And I would just say is just calm down. And like I said, we are all guests in different countries. I'm a guest in these countries. Any time of the day, if the US said that, hey, you're no longer welcome here, you can go back to your national country, I had to do that. I have no choice. So again, I'm not gonna be going back to being a politician or something. I'm not
Right.
a politics, but again, let's trim it down a little bit, because again, social media has a lot of things that can be really hurtful to people.
Right.
And it's a lot of negative things that you can say. So we just really need to be mindful about.
And I will say this. I said a lot of expats. It's not every expat is making bad videos. Well, not bad videos, but complain. There are some expats that they don't complain at all in their videos. You have to decipher the ones for yourselves. I'm sure you can. I could sit here and name channels, but I'm not going to do that. And, You know, it's not every expat doing that. It's really a select few, but it's just that age old saying, uh, you know, a few apples spoils the bunch. So, you know, I mean, coming from, like I said, that country, a foreigner's not even allowed to own land there. So imagine what other, you know, restrictions they could put on us if they get a lot of negative impact. You know, I would like to think I'll fall in love with it when I go there, and I'll want to retire there, and I just don't want it messed up for me or anybody else. And that's it. So with that, guys, we're gonna leave, and you know, I hope everybody stays safe, and that's it. I mean, you got anything else?
No, that's it. Thank you, guys. Hope to hear some comments from you guys. And again, thank you for watching. Have a good night.